I think we can roll like this.
Excellent.
Okay.
Great.
You don't mind, I don't mind. I put Wonder on the back.
Fantastic, everybody. Okay, I think we will kickstart this second part, this second panel of today. And I think we already witnessed some thrilling content already, and we are ready to continue this ride with you. My name is Lucas. I am Co-Liv Ambassador of the Netherlands, and I'm co-moderating this panel with my friend, Waelter Zueck.
Hello, everybody. I'm Waelter Zueck, Co-Liv Ambassador for Switzerland. I'm a hotelier for life and a member of the real estate development team of Steiner in Switzerland.
Fantastic. Now, before we kickstart today's theme, I just want to do a little shout out to the Co-Liv organization and a little throwback to November 2017, when life was still normal. You would be hugging your grandma. You could eat out with friends on overcrowded terraces. You could simply shake someone's hands, right? Things that don't seem that normal anymore. And during this 2017, that was also the year when the very first Co-Liv Summit was born and hosted in San Francisco. And I remember being there just as a participant, and there were only 50 people there back then. Very small space, very community driven. But look at this now, a couple of years later, only the third summit now, but over, I believe, 500 unique participants. And I believe it's very special when you grow 10 times as big and yet still being drenched with this inclusive sense of community. I think it's a really special movement to be part of. So thanks everyone of the organization involved for this. And with this, we continue to today's theme, which is converting hotels to co-living in a post-COVID-19 world. And we managed to have 3 fantastic speakers on board today for you, each with its own unique perspective. No need to explain you how hard worldwide economies have been hit by this crisis, especially hotel markets, which were largely depending on international travel. I think for more than a year now, cities are experiencing massive drops in occupancy rates. Hotels had to shut down their doors, for plenty temporarily, for some even permanently. Truly a situation this market did not have to face before. Today's speakers, however, very happy with this, they will shed some light at the end of the tunnel with us. And because where there is a crisis, there are always opportunities if you really listen carefully to this shifting user demand, when you take really thoroughly the time to listen to your users. And the three speakers today, they managed really to do this in a very successful way, each with a unique approach. So without further ado, I would like a warm virtual applause for Alexandros Tyropolis, CEO of Novak Solutions, Hans Meyer, co-founder and managing director of Soku, and Tomer Berkovic, CEO of Wonder Europe. Hello, guys. Great that you are all here. Very happy to have this amazing setup here. And a short message to the audience. During this session, feel free to ask any questions in the chat so that our speakers later can try to maybe answer a couple of these after their talk. And we keep it a little bit interactive like this. Okay, this for the intro, and I give the word now to Waelter. Take it away, Waelter.
Yes, thank you very much, Lucas, for this wonderful intro. Good morning to everyone in the audience and also from my side. And good morning, Hans, Tomer, and Alexandros. Alexandros, happy to have you with us today. You have the honor to kickstart this session. Your story is truly very inspiring. You have converted the Swiss hotel in Zurich, which has been built in the early 70s by Steiner, in a temporary co-living. How did that come?
First of all, thank you for having me here. I'm very excited to be part of this community today, and heads up for this development you have pointed out, Lucas. Well, as you said, this building, built in the 70s, was once the highest hotel tower in Switzerland, 85 meters, built by Steiner back then as a hotel. And it had a tradition till last November, when the last hotel which was there, unfortunately, due to the COVID crisis, went bankrupt. And the hotel was not owned, or the building was not owned by this hotel company. It was owned by a big bank, which then very fast put up new plans on what should happen next, new construction, new development. But until that happens, this needs, of course, a bit of time. And this is where we come in. Our company does interim usage concepts for empty buildings of all kinds. And in December 16th, I think, 2020, it was when we got approached on, hey guys, any idea what you could do with that building for a year? And that was when the challenge actually started. So I don't know, I'd switch to a little presentation if you guys want.
Yeah, just go
Okay.
ahead, Alex. Yes.
Good.
Perfect.
So I'll tell you more about the story and the background and what we did exactly, so you understand, and then hit me up with questions. Okay. Someone has to give me the right to share the screen.
Kate.
Absolutely.
In the meantime, Alex, Ryan said this morning that it's a question of how to create positive vibrations and positive frictions. So you took over an empty building. How did you bring the emotions into the bricks?
I'll show you more about it later, but it's I fully agree with that. I mean, an empty building can be filled. I mean, it's residential with the right prices. This is not a hard thing to do, to fill it up with people which will live there. But how will you fill it up with people which in the end will actually be a community, which actually will be having positive vibes, which not only work in the inside, but also promote the whole project to the outside. And
Yes.
This is actually the challenge which we had to face. And I think it's a part of good work, good marketing, good storytelling, but also luck. Which always in entrepreneurship is one big component of success, right? To just be lucky. And I think we did what we could. We worked very, very hard, did the best we could, and we're lucky enough that it drew the attention which it needs. So I am co-host now, so it seems I can share my screen. Does everyone see it?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay.
Perfect.
So in order for you to understand, I've said it before, I'll start a bit in the beginning. What do? We are a company which does temporary management of vacant real estate. So we're not only co-living or not only this one project. We actually get hired by big pension funds or banks, or hired. They approach us and they say, hey guys, we have this empty real estate you see in the top. This could be residential apartments, commercial buildings or hotels. They're empty for whatever reason. There are many reasons why real estate can be empty. And then they ask us, hey guys, look, we have a year, we have 2 years, we have 3 years, we have a few months. Is there any solution you guys see to not have this building be empty? And then what we do is we invest a lot of brain work, a lot of creativity, and of course do the math in order to design a concept, which we then in the last part can implement during a usage A and B, right? And we are just the guys in the middle. So whatever we do is till now, it's always temporary. And this brings the challenge of time, because we always have a very limited time to actually execute whatever ideas we have. So we cannot do a 5-year plan. Mostly we do a 1 year or 2 year plan on, and then it has to work, you know. And this is actually what we do as a team. It's very stressful, but also very fulfilling, because you can always go from one adventure to the next one, and it's like a playground for new ideas. So we are also able to test a lot of new things. This is important to know, why we did what we did, how we did it. So why do owners come to us? I mean, I think what they have understood is that reputation is important. Having a building empty is not only bad for their reputation of the building and the location, it will also have a negative impact on the value of the building and on the corporate social responsibility aspect, because how could you afford actually having empty apartments, let's say in an urban area? I think this is this just not acceptable nowadays. So this rethinking happens on, okay, we need some approach, some guys to handle buildings for a short time. Loss of rent, vandalism, squatters, damages if things stay empty too long, operating costs. These are all reasons why you would do an interim management. So let's start on going deeper into our co-living project, where we transform a hotel into a co-living. I mean, the idea of co-living is around for quite long. Waelter, we had a call yesterday or the day before. You were telling me that back in the 90s, you guys were already discussing approaches like that. So this is nothing we have invented. And I had it in my head for quite a time, because Zurich is I'd say rather conservative market, and these ideas of how will future living be are rather new to owners, new to people living here. So we just had it in our mind that I think the trend is going towards more flexibility, more mobility, and more demands on various usages of the area, the spaces we have, not just kitchen, living room, office, but also some common shared areas, maybe infrastructure for work, etc., etc. So having that in mind, and then COVID hitting us for now quite a time, the project came up. As I told you before, we were asked to create a concept and actually develop and run it, of a well-known hotel in the middle of Zurich, 85 meters high, 47 rooms for just 365 days. This is the challenge, actually. And the building is this one. So we have this building here, typically around 70s when it was built. In the bottom, we have the lobby and 1,000 square meters of events venue with the fully professional equipment. And then we have multiple floors, and most of the floors are hotel rooms. And then we have the top floor where you see that brownish glass windows. This was conference back then, is now a very important element of our concept. I will show you pictures later. It's the living room for us now. So what we did is we implemented a co-living solution, meaning that we thought of how could people actually live here, and what would it need to be living here. And this means work, meetings, events, sport, food and beverage, networking. These are all aspects which we had to think about. And I think for us, it was clear that co-living would fit or match this hotel building, because hotel buildings have a very big infrastructure on different venues. So we have the events, we already have F&B in the house, there's a restaurant, we have various hairdresser, Dunkin' Donuts, Starbucks in the ground floor. Then there are multiple rooms or big areas which you can, like the lobby or other areas, you can transform into some kind of community zones. So this is all given in a hotel. Of course, you have the hotel rooms. We were very lucky for this project that they all were furnished in a pretty good state. So you have that ensuite bathrooms, and this is all perfect when you want to do a co-living. Now, what we had to do, what the challenge was on how could we transform this former 4-star, rather a bit dusty spaces into something interesting, right? And we thought of different ways how we could actually make use of them. Here in the video, you will see a bit of ideas, what we brought up in the very beginning, in order to show how co-living could actually be realized in that hotel. So this video
perfect,
here,
Alex.
example,
I just wanted to say we have two more minutes for you.
Okay. So what we did
Thank
here,
you.
we did a startup floor for startups which work here actually. Then how do I get out here? Oops. Sorry, now I'm lost. Yeah. So we did the living rooms. We rented out them, the living spaces, the rooms, the lobby. We made it to a living room, and for all the marketing, I think there's another important aspect. We went in a guerrilla marketing style, so we painted or we did numbers, a countdown with the window lights, and without telling anyone why. And then the media got very curious, and they came up to us, and we didn't say, or to the bank owning that, and we didn't say anything. And then after the 5, 3, 2, 1, 0 go countdown, we actually launched this and got a lot of media attraction because everyone was super curious what happened there. And then shortly, what happens now? So we are a community of 215 residents living here. Median age is 29. 50% is students, the other 50% normal working labor. We are sold out after 1.5 months on the market. And we have a community of 24 countries actually represented here. Everything working super well. We're super happy with it, and brought a very new style of living to Zurich with that, really living the vibes. Yeah.
I have a question, Alex. Alex, you could have sold out these rooms at much higher rates, but you decided to put aside a few rooms for students who otherwise would not find any space, and sell them for less than 400 francs. What motivated you to do this?
We think that the interim use of buildings also has a social aspect. And we had a big mass of rooms here. I mean, 347 rooms. And for us, every day, these rooms being empty was just not the right thing to do. So we preferred to fill up the house quickly and make use of this full 12 months instead of having a few months empty on which we would wait for the well-paying customers. So in order to do it quick and to spread the word quickly as well, because of course this would spread the word very fast, we decided to have a 50% quota on student residents here.
Perfect. I think that is very beautiful, and I think, Waelter, we have to continue now to the next speaker. Otherwise, you will run out of time. Audience, feel free to ask Alexandros questions also in the chat. Alexandros, feel free to engage with the audience there as well, because I think it's a very inspiring story, and many thanks for this. And so now it's time to jump from a solution for basically an anti-hotel to a solution that for a hotel that did not close their doors for even one day during this crisis, was able to pivot its model to living as well. And on top of that, is opening hotels in Copenhagen and Vienna these months. Is that right, Hans?
That's correct, Lucas. And hello to everybody, speakers and participants. Lovely to be here.
Fantastic. And I think you guys made incredible footage of how, as a company, you acted during this crisis. I'll not steal any of the thunder away. I'm going to ask our co-living queen, Kate, to share with us this video. And now, enjoy, everyone. The sound is only not working at the moment, Kate, so maybe we can replay it a little bit, including sound. That would be fantastic.
Sorry, 1 second. Apologies.
Chi ti devo chiamare?
Niente, gli dice di non fare rumore, per favore.
Di?
Non fare rumore.
Het coronavirus houdt ons land in de greep. Ons en de rest van de wereld.
The first country in the world to impose a nationwide lockdown.
Talks of the lockdown.
A nationwide lockdown.
Defeat the coronavirus.
It has announced a nationwide lockdown to curb the spread.
You must stay at home.
Your daily rhythm was messed up. The travel, the business was messed up, and the speed in which this happened was so significant that literally it went from us getting a press conference by the Dutch government at 5 p.m. saying in half an hour, all hotel, restaurant, cafe, F&B operations will have to close in half an hour on a Friday.
It was just really, really strange to see. We were used to this 90, 95, 98, 100% occupancy, even being overbooked. And now we saw the numbers dropping, and it dropped to 80, and it dropped to 60. And we had all these plans already, like, okay, what if we drop to 60, we'll do this. We dropped to 40, we will do this. But we thought we would never get there. And all of a sudden, we dropped to 30. And then we dropped to 20. I think on the lowest we dropped to about 17%.
As we went, we saw that the impact would be more severe, and that was for us a kind of a signal that we as a company needed to adapt towards kind of a new reality which was coming towards us.
In Amsterdam alone, I think about 250 hotels temporarily closed out of the 300 or so.
Did Zoeck close down?
No, we did not close down.
Zoeck has always been focused on eliminating barriers among residents, members, and staff. When all those restrictions came and we needed to adhere to 1.5 meters in physical distancing, we also wanted to avoid social distancing in a time where people were craving human connections. At Zoeck, impossible is just an opinion, and we believe nothing is impossible. Doing it all together, we immediately formed a company-wide task force mixing all various roles. Next to the obvious things, like repainting the rooms, we've been working as one big team on adapting the entire guest experience, training everyone and ensuring all our guests and staff felt safe while still feeling part of the family. At the same time, we kept our community together with a variety of things, like visiting them when they could no longer visit us and connecting them by organizing beer o'clock via Zoom. Zoeck is the Japanese word for family. And all Zoeck showed so much team spirit, creativity, passion, and resilience during COVID, which proves that Zoeck is still an example of a good company. In these uncertain times, it has truly felt like a family, with all the amazing people that helped Zoeck during this crisis. With a hidden bed and a big table amidst a comfortable living space. The Zoeck Loft offers a unique design with all you need to live comfortably and work efficiently. Due to these distinct features, we successfully launched the Workloft concept. Thanks to these rare attributes, the Workloft has been sold hundreds of times. To let the Dutch reconnect to Amsterdam in a new, more local light, Zoeck launched the Zoeck audio guides. Famous Dutch TV personalities Chris Segers, Floortje Dessing and Jort Kelder selflessly helped Zoeck to rediscover Amsterdam and Zoeck's local neighborhood. Tourists and international business travelers couldn't come to Amsterdam anymore, so we focused on the domestic market by collaborating with outstanding brands and knitting them together into one fully integrated experience. We created an urban resort in the middle of the city with love stories and Waelter, 50 private restaurants with reis and foodhallen, and 45 marketeers with the parade. With those events, Zoeck was the initiator of connecting so many brands, initiatives and people, while at the same time creating loads of PR and an additional revenue stream for Zoeck and its partners. So, what does resilience and connection bring? Zoeck, connecting people and ideas.
Yes, fantastic. And I think I'm just going to jump in there, Hans, with these two words that were big in the screen, resilience and connection. Maybe can you elaborate a little bit about how the key Zoeck ingredients contributed to this resilience and connection?
Well, I think connecting to the great story that Alexandros just told, it's about using space in a different way. And of course, we are pretty used to space for a single function. I mean, we have places where we live, we have places where we work, and in a hotel, you normally sleep because the bed is in the middle of the space. So you can't do a lot of other things with that. And I feel what is particularly interesting from a real estate perspective is if you're able to create flexibility and if you're able to stack different business models on the same square meter, because that's actually an interesting potential. mean, if you would compare us to co-working operators, they have a kind of a revenue window of say 50 hours a week, 8 o'clock in the morning until 6 o'clock in the afternoon. And a hotel has a 168-hour revenue per week opportunity. Yeah. Now, the big question is that, of course, the majority of hotel rooms can be used as kind of an office space. But we tested that with COVID-19, and we were extremely fortunate that at Zueck you can hide the bed, and the kitchen table is the most important piece of furniture. So after having learned that we could use the Zueck loft as a hotel room, we can also use it as a service department. We can also use it as a workspace, as a meeting room, as a private restaurant, and even as a micro theater, like we proved this year. So there has been a lot of experimentation with different spaces. And especially these kind of pandemics could come more. And I feel that the biggest advantage of Zueck currently is that we already have a product without any capex investment, where we can go into the travel market, office market, residential market, and as well the event space.
Yeah, fantastic. I think it really turned out very resilient, and the strength of how hybrid real estate combined with this entrepreneurial spirit of your operations in the whole Zueck team, how this really can prove how resilient and connective you can be during a crisis. And I actually also attended one of these initiatives that you organized during the crisis, so I could experience it firsthand, and I liked them really much. And my question actually is, all these new initiatives that you organized during the crisis for these new target audiences, basically, once we leave this pandemic behind us, will they remain part of Zueck's experience?
Well, the fun part, for example, where we created 50 private restaurants, for example, from I would say, profitability model. I mean, it was definitely profitable, but that was not the key item here. It was basically creating something cool in a kind of a time where nothing is possible, and to create something exceptional for our customers. But at the same time, it was also very good for employee morale. But last but not least, it created great PR stories, because not a lot of hotels were actually doing a lot of things, and even internationally, we were featured on great media platforms and in newspapers. So we are definitely we've definitely decided to continue with these kind of events, for example, because it's a kind of creative way of using space that we want to pursue. But I think if we link it to the theme of today, so basically shifting more towards co-living, that's, I think, a very interesting model where we go more into developing models around subscription-based living. Yep. So what we've learned over the last year is that work from home became so normal. COVID acted as a kind of a catalyst for that development, but work from home becomes work from anywhere. And when I started off Zueck, I worked 2 months in Buenos Aires, 2 months in Washington, 2 months in Bali, to really understand this international lifestyle. But that lifestyle becomes more interesting for a lot of people, because you can work from any space. So if you combine that with desired flexibility from people, if you combine that more and more people want to have convenience, if you combine that people want to have access instead of ownership, if you combine it towards that people like to have a more asset-light lifestyle, we feel that subscription living is becoming a very interesting segment for hospitality. And that's also definitely a segment that we're going to build on, and we're going to extend that. Now, the co-living model for a hotel is in a normal market far less profitable than the hotel markets. But at the same time, I mean, occupancy levels will not be growing very fast in the next, say, 2 to 4 years. So in any case, what hotel operators could do is to take part of their accommodation and shift that more to a kind of a co-living scheme.
Fantastic, fantastic. For the ones interested in this model, I included a link in the chat where you can check out Zueck's subscription living model. Final question, Hans, and you have about 30 seconds to answer this one. What do you think is of key importance when you transform hotel into co-living?
Well, first of all, and I will talk fast, experiment. So don't do the entire hotel, but experiment with a number of rooms. Make sure that the zoning fits. But if you want to do this and you want to create a space, do it well. I always say you cannot be half pregnant, so either you do it well or not, but you can do it with a small amount of rooms, make sure that they have the right guest experience, build your community, offer the right services, and just pivot a little bit with your model and play with it. And as soon as it's becoming successful, you can extend.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Hans. And also for you, I invite you to check out the chat. Maybe there are questions from the audience that still, yeah, it's interesting for you to answer. Thanks a lot. Incredible story.
Thanks, Lucas and Waelter.
Of course. And we continue now to Tomer Berkovic, CEO of Wonder Europe. Thanks a lot for being here, Tomer. Very happy that you are joining us, and nice to meet you. I think it's interesting that you are here because often if we talk about the crisis, we intend to, yeah, it's a negative feeling, it's a negative thing. Yet Wonder, you actually saw an opportunity, seized an opportunity maybe to expand your branch in the hotel industry. So I think your perspective and your learnings also are very relevant to this topic here. So I'm very happy to give you the word.
Thank you very much, Lucas and Waelter, and everyone who participate. Nice to see Hans and Alexandros, and we are very excited to be here. I will share my screen if it's possible. I just need to have the access, please.
Absolutely. Perfect.
Yeah. My name is Tomer Berkovic. I'm a co-founder and the CEO of Wonder. Small correction, from the beginning of 2021, we are Wonder Global. We are not active only in Europe, and these are also very exciting years. I will briefly present Wonder as what we do, and then I'll get better into the understanding on the Wonder Hotel new product that we have. So Wonder is a global co-living and lifestyle brand offering beautiful design homes to emphasize experience within global community, vibrant community. Our community today has about 50,000 members. They are all Generation Z, means like these young professionals, digital nomads, students, relocated employees, freelancers, young couples, artisans, athletes, artists, musicians, that they don't consume the traditional way of living, traditional way of working. They are very opportunist. They don't want to be based in one place. They need this flexibility. They don't want to be nothing. They don't want to be obliged to mortgage return. They need this freedom to move and travel. We believe in the freedom of moving, traveling, and working around the world while feeling at home within a community anywhere. Wonder today active in London, Berlin, Warsaw, Dubai, that we launched at the beginning of 2021. We soon gonna open few locations in the US, such as Miami, New York, Atlanta, LA, Boston, and Dublin. Today, we are running approximately 4,000 apartments. We contracted with more than 7,000 until the end of 2021. The average duration with Wonder is 10.5 months. But we saw kind of increasing on the demand for mid-term solutions to staycations, weeklies, that at the end, while providing this hassle-free living with the community, our global tenants would love to stay in some different metropolises or core areas. And as I will present the Wonder Hotels in Kensington that we are going to launch in the 17th of May, they don't wanna pay £350 to stay in the heart of London. By that, we actually identified this product. I will present some of just like the look and feel of how our spaces looks like, and I'll get to the hotel. So top left is our Cromwell Road property in London, South London. Underneath is Kuppenackerstrasse in Berlin. On the east is Wonder Shoreditch. On the right hand, I'm sorry. Left side, Wonder Highgate, Northwest London, upriver in Warsaw, and Wonder Wimpole Street in Marylebone area in London. The majority of impact, actually, as we see co-living, I named that as Co-Living 3.0, but the idea is that every apartment in Wonder is fully, truly independent. I mean, we don't share any of the facilities such as showers, kitchens, living rooms. Every apartment is self-contained. The co-living in Wonder means like the community, the content, our ability to connect people through those all amenities. So we have different vibes, different amenities, such as rooftops that we conduct, like events and barbecues and live screenings, cinema room, external on the roof, dedicated co-working spaces, cinema room, gym, fitness, yoga, our radio station in Berlin, art galleries, clubhouse, sports, etc. So the Wonder Hotels actually came to answer the need, as I just mentioned earlier, in regards to mid and short stays. I don't want to bother with too many real estate or planning understanding behind, but at the end is very hard to identify such as properties that you can actually take and convert into those specific. So let's say in London, planning of C1, I had to find like opportunities with serviced apartment provider that had townhouses with 6 apartments inside the townhouse. They stopped operating. I found a way via one of our landlords to acquire this building and take master lease from him. Why we actually created 96 rooms inside those 4 buildings inside the townhouse. So that's Wonder Hotels in the heart of Earls Court, Kensington. We picked all the materials, the design, and we were emphasizing on empower our local community by doing a lot of artworks and having the impact of what the final product will look like. So if after the fit outs, the lobby in the hotel was looking like that, we finished that.
Yeah, very cool.
It's very young, Instagrammable, fresh design. The rooms are also very colorful, very cozy, very urban. Emphasize again on the experience and the convenience of staying there. With kitchenette and of course showers in each of the buildings, which are actually one across the other on the same street and the parallel street, we found some space that we actually convert to have amenities. So we had this garden, and we have gym in another one, and cinema room, and we have a coffee place for breakfasts and co-work inside this area. I think that the most important for me to share here is at the end, while I picked to start running this short to mid-stay opportunity, which is different than what we had until now. We saw very growing demand from Wonder tenants living in Berlin, in Warsaw, or people that used to be our tenants, and they really want to enjoy the experience of being now. They are students, they have the summer vacation, they want to discover the city and stay for long. And also, as Wonder members use the other Wonder properties for the amenities and the experience content, events, TED Talks, music venues, art galleries, and lifestyle. We found that we can offer them this long stay within 25 to 30% of the price they would have to pay on ADRs pre-COVID. Of course, that post-COVID, we adjust ourselves because we see the neighborhood and the area. Besides that, we also give the Wonder guests on the Wonder hotels the access to our technology within the communications, the community, and everything through the app. So the app can actually answer all their needs, from services to amenities, activities, newsletters, places to go, concierge, places to hang out. If they need a ticket to the next Chelsea game or entrance to the box club, the community managers that are all way long with them in the communications on the chat, or the dedicated concierge / community manager on site can find the solution for them. And by that, we also keep very, very low churn. People, they don't leave. They just want to improve their accommodation and stay with us for the next destinations. I think that by that, I would kind of be happy to answer any question you guys may have.
Fantastic, fantastic. Thank you. Thanks a lot, Tomer. Maybe just a first a quick announcement. We will be staying here for a bit to do some more questions. If there are really people that are longing for some meditation time, you can go to the studio room. For now, we stay here for a couple of more questions with Tomer. Tomer, I'm just wondering, your demand for this shorter and mid-duration stay, it grew from inside your community, right? You felt the demand growing from these people, from the Wonder people. Do you see the same opportunity for this segment, although we are in this crisis, but do you see the same opportunity across multiple countries in Europe, or is it now mostly in London, in UK focused?
So the answer is yes. I think that the biggest challenge we had is that London planning is very strict, and we are collaborating with the local council within every borough we walk in Islington, in Camden, in Kensington, etc. Now, in Warsaw is a question of VAT. You want to stay for short, you pay 8% VAT. I mean, I pay. You want to stay for long, you pay 20%. In Dubai, it doesn't exist. In Miami, you just need to have Airbnb license. So it's a kind of a compliance into specific building. And in Berlin, you can't do below 6 months. So the answer is absolutely yes. And the Chinese student who come to study art in the UAL, or the American young professional who has some thoughts and he's a web developer and he wanna hang out with others like himself in London, they wanna have a solution for a week or weekend or staycation in Dubai. We definitely support them and offer them like discounted rates as Wonder members, etc. The same for the Chinese student who come to the UAL and want us to go to Miami. But I think that by finding those alternatives, that now we have the brand and the understanding of the product that we can actually copy paste and transfer into different specific countries with the design, the language, the brand, and the business plan. I mean, the model, how it works. We are absolutely going to replicate it into other cities in Europe. And
perfect. Yeah. And do you have what would your advice be for people that are also in this conversation with the landlord about taking a master lease with a hotel zone product focused on this mid and short stay? Because I can imagine it can be a challenging conversation maybe in these times to convince a landlord about a hotel product, while you succeeded in very much so in doing this.
So Wonder, it's important for me to share that also. Wonder is very asset light. We don't own the properties we have. We took master lease. It took us a lot of time and efforts and proof of concept to have kind of partners that at the end, when they acquire a property or when we see potential property for them, it runs through all the process with the lender, with their finance, with their banking, with the equity, doesn't matter, their funds, or that they will feel very safe and secure that we are taking the master lease from them. We don't do management agreements. I don't see a need for that. At the end, I'm the leaseholder for 15 years, and they see better returns from the model we build together with them. As long as, and at the end, it's all analysis and it's all in the numbers. So it should be very transparent, very efficient, very full control on the landlord side, that he will understand that the best solution for him is like having one master operator than just giving that to, I don't know, a high street broker, letting agent, or property management. That will justify different lower or inefficient gross to net returns.
Fantastic. Yeah. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Tomer. And I think with this, we will slowly go towards the closing of our session. I'm sorry it went a little bit in a fast train, but it's always how we do it in these kind of panels. But massive thanks to all speakers to this very relevant topic. For anyone interested in more cases about converting hotels into co-living, Waelter shares a little surprise with you.
Yeah, so for all the people who want to dive deeper into this subject, there will be the first Co-Liv event in Switzerland. It's on the 26th of May, and I will be talking to the founder of Tomodomo. And I will just post the link into the chat, so that everybody who wants to be there and ask questions and hear the story of Johannes Peter from Tomodomo.
Fantastic.
And thank you very much to all of you, and have a great day. Thanks to be here.
Thank you, Waelter. Thanks everyone for being here. Thanks, Hans, Alex, Tomer.
Thank you.
Great session, great insights, and we'll keep in touch.
Absolutely.